Right, welcome to the stream. Come back, just do some Minecraft. Win 10 edition. So again, this will mainly be checking technical issues. I'm still getting settled with my streaming setup. And we're going to see how my computer copes. I streamed a bit earlier today and the computer started crying, figuratively. It's making a lot of long beeping sounds, which means maybe my RAM has an issue or something like that. But I've closed everything non-essential down off the gaming machine, and I've got chat active on my other laptop, and because Chrome is such a RAM hog, it seems to have made a difference. So in this world you can see my base up here. It's a temporary base. It's a temporary base of operations where I'm going to be and to conduct a search for where my treehouse is. I lost it. There were lots of issues. If you want to see the whole story on that, you'll have to go to my son's stream, which is Gaming with Theo, and we've got videos there showing the treehouse and then a video talking about how I lost it. Basically just due to exploring and the fact that one of the only things I dislike about Minecraft up on a map is not up on a compass. So up on a map we can see is, well, what would commonly be east on a compass. So because of that I managed to lose my home, and yeah, now I've realised that I'm so lost I need to conduct a systematic search, which is going to take a while potentially. And so this temporary base of operations has been constructed to make that happen. Nice easy bit of coal. So just checking OBS again, and no drop frames, and the computer's around 30% CPU. It's not bad. At the moment, you might wonder what I'm doing. I'm just collecting some dirt blocks. There's a section over here that I want to fill in, so it's just a bit pointless. Yeah, it's totally is enough other farmy bits already in this village. So yeah, there's just no point in having this bit anymore. Might take the wood first though. That would be the wise thing to do, wouldn't it? Don't need the map at the minute. Maybe a waste to leave this wood behind. Oh, hello. These really tiny zombies, like the kid ones that just run like lightning. Worst mob ever. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that on the mic, but just had the first beeps from the computer. CPU's hitting about 50% now, I see. Still no drop frames though, so I'll take that. And fill all this in now. Okay, dependent on how my computer reacts, I might have to cut the stream a bit shorter than I wanted it to be. I might have to resign myself to wait until the computer is fully fixed before I can stream reliably. Which is a bit annoying, but that's how it is. Yeah, so CPU's hitting 60 odd % now. Hearing the beeps a lot more. One thing I haven't properly done yet is check out my sign in the night. The letters look alright. So to give some background, I've not been playing Minecraft that long. A month or so. A bit longer. Got into it because of my son. Loves Minecraft and like watching all Minecraft videos, so I mean I've seen a fair few videos, so I wasn't like totally clueless before I started playing, but watching videos doesn't really prepare you for the subtleties of Minecraft. But despite how simply it's put together, there's so much depth to the gameplay. It's quite brilliant. I've not had ever played a game that's hooked me emotionally as much. Dying in Minecraft affects you. Or affects me anyway. See, it's those little ones. Those little ones, they run like lightning. They are evil. So you can't even like get a good shot on them. Just run around. Here we go. So you get an enchantment book to put a fire aspect on your sword, and you think it's a great idea because, you know, obviously fire damage is a great thing. But then you realise you have zombies that are moving like lightning. And setting you on fire. Time for a diamond sword. The Doom Sword of Fire is actually well titled. bit too doom laden for me. Yeah, we'll go on the diamond sword for the minute, I guess. Wondering what this hole is. This is my bin. Show that as well. Pointless doing that because tempted to put a pressure pad on that side of the gate. And they are pretty awesome pressure pads. The only worry is sometimes about mobs getting in, but it'll be right. There's a great situation here. I built a little chair for when I go fishing, and unwittingly trapped that zombie down there. Okay, CPU on 50-60% and going beeping again. Brilliant. Drop my map on the floor, it's a great idea. So now I think I'm going to go... Yeah, I've got enough stuff. I'm going to get a boat that I've parked up. Well, moored up. It's not moored. There's a boat down here. I'm going to jump in it. Got some places I haven't been before. Fill in the map square. Ideally, I want to get this map square totally filled in, and then I can make a copy, and then it'll be the first square in the map wall. I mean, it's going to be quite a mission. Finding the treehouse home is going to take a long time because of the whole compass map. It's the best word for it. Inconsistency. Because of that, it's going to take. It could potentially take. I don't know, weeks, months. Who knows? It's crazy that it can put you into a situation though, because a situation like that and like the way the story gets created is one of like the really amazing things about Minecraft. For something that seemingly, you know, I think people just feel like there's no point, they can get kind of become a bit aimless and not know what to do, like sometimes. But then, you know, out of nowhere, just a situation like that can be created where it's like a Greek saga, something where it might end up being by the time I find home. I mean, I guess these streams will just show like my actual search. If you wanted a condensed kind of update, then that's going to happen on my son's channel. Basically, because I messed up, I'm going to be the one trying to find home, and because he can't be bothered. If anybody can tell me a quicker way to do that with a boat, I'd like to know. It's quite annoying. Okay, I'm going to start covering some of this area. Oh, how long that happens, we'll have to see. Don't know if you can hear it, but there's loads of beeping from my computer. It's just in constant beep mode. Although I was crying about it, is managing to stream and not drop any frames. According to OBS anyway. Creeper. Actually, that's a point. Really annoys me how toggle perspective. Is that can I put it on there? That's better. So I found that quite, like, if I got in a bit of a panic situation, I'd end up hitting that button too hard. And I would usually end up getting really annoyed because I can't see what I'm doing when I'm trying to battle. You know, that's the other thing about Minecraft, like exploring in Minecraft, you know, it feels like a big deal. Yeah, it does feel like a real effort, like, you know, to cover the ground. I mean, it's easier if you're in a boat. Obviously, you can like cover quite a lot of ground quickly. Well, water. But yeah, when you're on the land, just trekking around, it just feels quite intense, you know. There's a thing that I never feel like really safe in Minecraft. It always feels like something can just come along and just destroy all your happiness. That's the thing, it's one of the harshest games I've ever played in a long time of playing games. Fairly long time. Nighttime is no joke. Gotta go to sleep. Oh, brilliant. So you can just avoid them for a bit and they'll burn themselves out. Although it is easy XP. I also find the XP, like the way XP works in Minecraft, quite interesting, where it's used more as a resource. Well, you know, you can have your like XP way up, but it doesn't make you harder and make like enemies less fearful. You know, enemies are still like no joke. But yeah, it's just always a sense that something can just come out of nowhere and just destroy everything. It's quite impressive how it does it actually, and it makes you care about it so much at the same time. That's what I find when I play the game. I think part of the reason is how much effort it goes in to, like, you know, getting all your resources. Say for example just getting the compass, you know, to get the iron and the redstone necessary to get that compass, you know, there's all the steps that you've got to go along to get there. I think because of like how much effort you put into that part of it, even seemingly simple things can, you know, make you feel very like hooked. Just checking the stream time and just checking OBS. So I've got OBS on the second monitor, which is to the right of me. So I end up just taking my eye off the main screen. But then obviously OBS has the preview there. Oh. Skills there. One of my other funniest Minecraft moments is there's a I've set up a rail network on the treehouse base, and I'd been mining for some sand, and as on the way back saw a zombie, shot it with an arrow, but I managed to like shoot it into the minecart, which then hit a powered rail and zoomed off right into the centre of my base. And whilst I'm like chasing after this, you know, I chuck a like minecart quickly onto the rail, you know, flying behind it, try to shoot arrows at it. And I'm doing it, I'm just like, what is this game, you know? Seemingly literally out of nowhere, you know. I just been getting some sand, minding my own business. And suddenly I'm just like in a high speed chase. And that's what makes Minecraft so brilliant to me, to be honest. The ability for that to just come out of nowhere is quite brilliant. I kind of don't know how it does it, in a way. Like, you know, there's nothing advanced about like mob AI, but it still becomes like quite a hectic situation when you do have to deal with them. It's like, whilst there's nothing fancy in the game, there's loads of really, really fancy things. It's really impressive how it does it. coal. Gonna get some of this gravel as well, see if we can get some flint. I'm in need of a bit of flint at the moment, obviously, for arrows. Nice. Expose some more coal. If anybody wants to donate me like a new CPU and RAM, go for it. So hopefully that is what is causing the beeping sound. But yeah, I just have to keep an eye on it really, and if it gets too bad I'll probably have to cut the stream. More coal, as usual, more flint, nice. There's always a little distraction in Minecraft, you know. You can be wandering around somewhere, but there's always going to be something that's just going to make you go off in a tangent. And that's like a really cool aspect of it as well. How that can happen very naturally, like in the game, just because of the way it is. I like that in games. Where, you know, you have this central objective, but just out of nowhere you can suddenly just be needing to do something totally different. But it just happens, and it's like very natural. You don't really think about it, and it's only a while later you just realise, oh, I need to yeah, get back onto that. My mission's just so big, it's almost a meta mission. It's just, you know, finding home is made up of just all these tiny little missions. So at the moment, like, this is the first objective, to get the first map square filled in, cloned, and then framed. But obviously on the way to do that I'm going to get distracted, you know. Having some coal is always a good idea. Right, that way. I know I could hop around, but I find it so much easier this way. See, because you're trying to hop around and that ends up happening, and that gets annoying. Should have some blocks of something in my hotbar, really. Although it's really random, I really love the Minecraft theme music, like soundtrack. It's just like really subtle, but it definitely adds to the game. And again, in a quite like natural, low-key way. Do find it hard sometimes with a map with the visibility. So this map is obviously zoomed out to full scale, 4 out of 4. Anything less is just pointless, right? It's like when you first make a map and it's just like a tiny area around you. It seems on Pocket Edition you need an anvil to make a map bigger rather than more paper and a crafting table. Cooked mutton for breakfast. It's not bad. Oh, here we go. May as well get some XP here. Cool. Which one am I going yet? So this is quite a new hobby to me. It's funny, so I've had quite a weird relationship with gaming, in terms of I grew up playing most of the time like just at home playing games. My childhood, I didn't get to go out much. I had quite strict parents, so I was kind of stuck inside most of the time, so pretty much all I did was play computer games. We had an Amiga, I had an old Atari that even had games on tape. We then got a PC later on. So all those kind of time up till being like 18, I was gaming a lot. You know, loved it, and then after that I went to uni, and then at that time, you know, I spent pretty much all my time going out and doing stuff. And you know, I'd only really game if, you know, around somebody's house they're playing some beat 'em up, you know, the pad's going round. That'd be usually like the extent of my gaming for years. So that went from the period of being 18, 19 up until being, I guess, last year, so 33-ish. So yeah, I wasn't playing games for a long time. You know, I still like games. You know, I still kept an eye on what was new and saw stuff. And you know, every so often I'd play a game. So quite a few years ago, maybe when Vice City came out around that time, that was one of the last games I actually played and completed, like, in years. So, you know, I was like a semi-retired gamer, I guess. So it's kind of a weird perspective to come back, like, into the world of gaming now. And obviously, like, being able to watch other people game on YouTube, I know there's a lot of people my age that kind of don't get it, and I guess I didn't for a while. But you know, having a son that was into that, you know, I saw a lot of the videos, you know, Squid, Stampy, stuff like that. And yeah, I've got quite into it. Into it enough to start streaming myself and making my own videos and like wanting to do this. So yeah, so having that much time away from games, it gives you quite a unique perspective. I mean, some of the games out these days are just incredible. And what's amazing to me is the amount of just like random cool free games that you can go on things like Miniclip, or you know, if you googled play online games, the type of websites that come up, you know, there's just these tons of like fun little games which are quite similar in mechanics and style and even graphics sometimes, the stuff I played growing up. But it's just all there, just like free access now, which is really cool. Something I really love actually. So that accessibility to gaming. Now just even the ability to play so many retro games in even just in browsers these days is really cool. But yeah, you get like some of the new games, and it's just amazing, how far the medium has come along. And there's loads of games now that are legit art. I mean, they have been for a while, I guess, but as the technology gets better, it gets easier to do that, and it doesn't mean there's more games that do that, because there's still just a lot of games that are run of the mill. Even games that people are playing loads of. If you think of something like Overwatch, people love it, people cane it, but it's just a very good first-person shooter. That's cool. But I just feel like with the technology enabling like the creation of worlds to a level of detail that we just couldn't have even imagined. Like growing up, I couldn't really have imagined playing something like Skyrim and spending 350, 400 odd hours exploring that world. And it's just so much detail there, and I know now I can still load Skyrim up and wander around, and I'll can chance into a side quest I'll have never seen before, and I know there's a lot of content that I've still not seen in that game, even though I've discovered apparently all but 11 places. But then even though there's stuff I've discovered, I've not even explored it, because it gets marked off from the map and you think, oh well, I'll come back to that place later, but you don't, because something else, like I was saying about tangents, something else will take your fancy. You'll get distracted and then you'll realise you had some other thing you were trying to sort out. And just being able to spend that much time and just get into the story so much, it's just brilliant. Yeah, so the possibility to do that, obviously, so it just means that whilst I totally get and respect games like Overwatch, and loads of people are loving it, it gets a lot of play, I guess I'm just saying I want more from a game. Just shooting stuff isn't enough, really. But I'm from the time of the very first first-person shooters, so before it was a genre, when there was Wolfenstein 3D, there wasn't a genre of FPS, there wasn't a whole kind of system around it, all these different engines of games. It's that all came, and it was brilliant watching it developing. At the time, when you went from Wolfenstein to things like Doom, to Quake, to Rise of the Triad, which was one of my personal favourites. I think, as far as I know, Rise of the Triad was the first first-person shooter that you could dual-wield weapons. I might be wrong, fair play if I'm wrong, but as far as I can remember at the time, I'd not seen anything else where you could dual-wield at the same time as Rise of the Triad. That's the kind of time of I was playing first-person shooters, and yeah, you didn't even think of it as a genre. It was just like, oh, there's this cool game, and then oh, another one came out that's kind of like that, and you know, then it becomes the whole thing of FPS. I mean, and now it's probably the most played gaming format. You know, whenever I hear of whatever game is getting big on like multiplayer, it generally seems to be an FPS. I think one of big exceptions to that are probably Minecraft and Rocket League. Yeah, Rocket League definitely books that trend. Crazy game. But yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting to have seen how gaming is developed in all that time, but not just being there every step of the way and involved with it, but having a really big hiatus. You know, spending it before I played Skyrim or like GTA 5, it had been maybe 15-20 years since I like sat down and had just like caned a game. Oh, with the exception of Vice City. The Vice City situation is I'd broken up with a person I've been living with, went back to another town where I had friends, and was staying with a mate who didn't have internet. I know, right? Travesty, savagery, all the rest of it. But he didn't have internet, but he had a PS3, I guess, and a big HD telly, and yeah, spent a lot of time playing that game. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You got no internet, you know. The world's not right if you don't have internet. So yeah, I spent it was GTA Vice City was probably the last game. But yeah, apart from that I guess that was the exception that proves the rule, that I just wasn't playing games. But there was no major, it kind of just panned out that way. You know, I've never like purposefully not been playing games. I guess they'd just been other stuff that I'd been doing. You know, I guess the time's been right now for me to get back into this, and yeah, like I say, having that time apart, I think gives me quite a unique perspective. You know, I've played all those games that were ruthless and you could never save, and they were really, really hard, and you just had to deal with it. And get the boat out. Do you know what? Minecraft is kind of. It's one of the harshest games I've played, you know. Yeah, the way it can affect you. Yeah, really harsh. Can anybody tell me what to do with lily pads? Still don't know anything useful you can do. I'm gonna guess they could probably be made into dye. Those old planty things seem to be able to. But obviously you just end up collecting them by accident if you hang around these places. Okay, random stream coming back on myself. Did anybody else notice the update of how sugarcane looks different now? Since the 1.0 update. It's kind of changed in texture, colours a bit. I guess I'd have to like find an old video to like fully show the difference. Not that I'm going to be bothered. That sounds like a whole lot of editing. which isn't the most fun thing. And if you're using something like Adobe Premiere, it does make it quite easy, but at the same time, I can't be bothered. Let's get food. Carry on the old exploration. So yeah, so it's a good time to come back into gaming, especially as I've had the opportunity to play some of the VR games as well. There's some really great ones. So if you get the opportunity to check out Budget Cuts or Quiver, they're both brilliant. At the moment, Quiver is my best multiplayer VR experience. If you've got a Vive and have friends that have it, then you need to check Quiver out, because that is a whole heap of fun. I've just played it with randoms, but I know if I was playing in a game with my friends, you know, the fun level just gets upped. You know, you're more involved if it's your friends, aren't you? So, to update the beeping situation, I think I selectively blocked out the beeping, but then I kind of noticed again that it's been going constantly for quite a while. Might mean that I end up cutting this stream soon. But I'm going to say it again, still no dropped frames, so you know, the first few streams you're doing, it's all about sorting out those technical issues. So yeah, I mean, this isn't the type of thing where I can end it on some kind of milestone, because there's not going to be one. I just have to do a whole mess of exploring. You know, if you are going to tune into any of these Minecraft streams, you're basically going to be watching somebody that's just got to do a lot of exploration, and you know, it's almost like watching somebody serve a penance, but the penance is because Minecraft has inconsistencies about how it does direction, rather than the penance being I messed up. I hate those side jumps. Screw it. Being lazy. I do love the way you shape the environment around you. I mean, whoa, do I want to do that? I'm not sure that I do. See, this is going to be one of those situations where I would need to go that way to fill that bit of the map in, but it's going to really annoy me if I don't do it. Like as I was saying, the way you can shape your environment to you, it's hilarious. Yeah, just doing silly stuff like this just because I was too lazy to go down and up there. And it makes it so quick to do it. But yeah, that totally would have annoyed me. So it's not like I can have the first map square going on the map wall that's not going to be fully filled in. That would really get to me. I'm not OCD as far as I know, but I am autistic, on the autistic spectrum anyway. I'm autistic. So things. Like, I can get obsessive about things, and it can really bother me. Like, Minecraft works really well with that and against that kind of nature at the same time. You know, I think you know, when you're like actually mining in Minecraft, it can be like really therapeutic. I find, but there are other ways where that obsessive, those obsessive tendencies, I guess, don't work quite well. They work against you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So at the same time as being like really soothing to whatever tendencies you have, it can also fuel them. Obviously, it's like quite easy to get obsessive about Minecraft, and in a way, like, kind of fair enough. Like, it's an incredible game. I don't think I've played anything ever as good. I mean, not only is it just, I mean, if you talk about just survival mode, but then the way it's now being used is a meta game for building other games. You know, there's loads of people who play Minecraft that may never really play survival mode. You know, they may just play, go on servers and play things like Sky Wars or Mob Wars or one of those things, or like the Disco Floor game. That's brilliant. You know, it's so much fun, and the way the game is used. See, this is one of them times when map visibility is bad. Really doesn't help. Like, if you had some translucency, but then, you know, Minecraft's harsh, so no, you can't have that. Well, you want to like be able to like look at everything clearly while you look at your map? No way. I kind of love how harsh it is though. This is the thing, like, it amazes me that this game can do that and make you feel like that and just be annoying like that and just really get to you, but at the same time you just care so much. A nice bit to like fill in, get right up to that edge there. Nice. But yeah, how it can just do that to you. Yeah, ridiculous. This game is ridiculous, ridiculously good. But yeah, it just kind of stuns me sometimes with the kind of gamut of emotions that I can go through whilst I'm playing this game. Damn you, trees. I love that as well, like tunneling through the trees, but insert it in just that perfect blocky way. Ah, I can't move, can I? Can I sleep if I do that? Nice. Probably arm my bow though, because he'll be around. Okay, this is... I told you to be around. One shot. So this is my big Minecraft question. How come, like, were all the skeletons really good archers before they became skeletons? Or is that like part of the Minecraft world of what happens when you become a skeleton? You just become like a really great archer? I'm really into like, well, archery and computer games. I'm not really into like real archery. I don't have a bow and arrow. But in RPGs, I'd always really like to have an archer. And it's always been a thing because, you know, if you're playing like D&D style RPGs, you know, that's one of your like best options for like ranged attacks, well, unless you're going magic. But really, I find I don't use magic for attacking in a lot of RPGs. Mainly I'll like get into like alchemy or enchanting things, so I'll get into that side of magic, but I generally don't get into like attack. So, you know, if it was Skyrim world, like destruction style magic, that's not that wouldn't be something I'd get into. You know, I'd know a few spells and stuff, but it wouldn't be one of my best attributes. Sometimes I think when there's fallen trees like this, you just need to collect it, really. Like, it's almost a waste if you don't. It's like if a tree falls in Minecraft and no one collects the wood, it's just going to stay there, isn't it? Clear a bit of space. New territory. So one of the, I guess when I first started watching gaming videos, I think part of like people say who are around my age, you know, been around long enough to like game before anybody even like thought of putting videos on. You know, before you had computers came connected to the internet, you know, you had to go to shops to buy games, or you know, you may have had a father like mine whose mate would come over periodically and like copy him all the latest games for the Amiga, because, you know, that was the thing. Just had boxes full of copied games. Obviously I bought this copy of Minecraft legit, but you know, things you do as a kid. But it's weird because you just had like so many games, so often I could do things where I didn't really stick like many games out. You know, there'd be so many games where I just have a blast on them for a few goes or like a few deaths, and then just, you know, just say there's just no point, jump onto some other game. So I could have like a few hours of gaming, but I could have covered like about 10 games, just because I kept changing my mind. And then, you know, I would get games that I got really into and like played till I completed them. So I guess something like Wolfenstein, yeah, probably like Doom and Quake, Dune 2. So there's another game that birthed a genre, I guess. You know, all of this XCOM stuff, all of these games just wouldn't have existed if it hadn't been for Dune 2. And the really like weird thing about Dune 2 is just it was like an anomalous game in like for loads of reasons. So it was completely different to Dune 1, which I'd played and liked. But Dune 1 had been a graphic, you know, point and click style adventure game. Never completed it though. But it was one of those. But then Dune 2 just became this resource mining, you know, defend base. You know, I guess they just become like RTS games is what they're called now. But you know, that genre didn't exist. So you know, it was Dune 2, and then Command and Conquer came out, and Red Alert, and then the genre just like kind of spiraled from there. You know, you had things like Age of Empires and yeah, it's interesting to see, like, remembering the birth of those genres, and now we're at a point where you know we have like esports and people like playing these games competitively, and you know what? It's kind of brilliant. Like, again, I've been like quite skeptical of these times. Like, esports, I've like I get it, but I've never really like watched it or anything. And then I saw a video that somebody had posted on a friend's Facebook feed. And I was watching it, and it was like only like a 5-10 minute video. And they're playing XCOM, and 2 people are playing. No, it's all great. And then there's just a sequence that lasts about half a minute or a minute, where one guy just annihilates the other. And I was just a bit like, whoa. Like, it was just so exciting and gripping. And like, I'm not a sports fan at all. I'm not into sports or anything like that. But I was like, I legit like could sit in a bar and watch this. You know, I would sit in a pub and watch like people like competitively play XCOM. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never even played XCOM, but you know, I know the game. And that's the thing. Like, you know, the basic bay mechanics, and you know, you get it. But I would totally sit in a pub with like people and like watch people do that competitively. But you know, you never know that, and then you just suddenly get put into this like in this situation where you see these things and you're like, whoa, this is just like completely different. Well, like I don't think I mean completely different, but it's just completely different experience than I thought it would be, I guess. And it's quite yeah, it's quite amazing to be like alive in a time, you know, when I was growing up like hearing mum say, you know, playing computer games won't get you anywhere, and now we have people who are legitimately building, you know, like legit entrepreneurs, but I guess, you know, in the case of somebody like Stampy, who have just built this from playing computer games. And I think like all credit to them. Like, I love the fact that they, you know, these people have been able to carve out this niche for themselves. Yeah, all power to them. Yeah, I'm not one of these curmudgeonly people. I meet a lot of them. You know, I'm like, my friends are like, are these people who are just complaining about the fact that like somebody like Stampy can now just like make a Minecraft video, like millions of people are watching, you know. Within like an hour of posting, he could have like over 100,000 like views. I mean, amazing to me, like that. You know, somebody can do that from just, you know, going from just playing their computer games online. And like, well, recording themselves and playing computer games, you know, totally amazing to me. And, you know, the stuff that, like, people like my parents said, you know, why are you wasting your time on those games and whatever? They've just all been totally proved wrong. And, yeah, I love the fact that's happened. I love the fact that I've been alive to see where people have legit made a living playing computer games. For all the people that can do that, like, great times. I'm not one of them. Like, and the thing is, it'd ever be something I try to do. I'm just having just a bit of fun, like streaming, because it's a lark. But yeah, I love the fact that people are able to do that, and yeah, never like begrudge them, like, because I find it really impressive. which way? So I guess if we're gonna go through, I keep wanting to call it the southeastern corner of the map, but I mean it's the bottom right corner of the map. I guess I'm gonna head towards that way where there's all the desert biome, and yeah, get kind of more to like the desert biome. And see what's what. Once I've kind of filled in that corner, and then it come back into the like bottom right hand side, and then maybe come around the bottom ridge of the map. Way. Oof. That hurt me a lot more than it should have. Well, than I should have let something. Do you know when you just get lazy, just like, yeah, I can just like jump around and do that, and I'm like, no dude, you can't. Like, you're miles from home, like you're gonna lose your stuff, you won't know where you are, and this is not even the first map square. I mean, this is a ridiculous thing, like this isn't even like the first map square done, like, and it's gonna be the first of many. Like, there's no way after like getting myself in this situation that I'm going to be lucky enough to just, you know, fill in a couple of map squares and be like, oh yeah, found home. Yeah, it's just like, it's not happening, is it? That's not going to be my life. If it was my life, I wouldn't have like lost it in the first place, like drowning myself just because I found out. Yeah. Drowning myself just because I found out you could use doors and fences to create air pockets underwater. So, you know, obviously I wanted to create a cool, like, underwater bit to my base. Drown myself, spawn miles from home. Make a compass because I think I know the way that I've got to go, but no I don't, because compass and map directions don't correlate. That is like... Even though I think this is the greatest game ever, I am never going to get over that bug. And it is a bug. Like, that is legit a bug. I'm a software tester. That is legitimately a bug. If you want me to, like, wax lyrical about why that is a bug, I can do it. But the simple reason is inconsistency. A map and a compass should align. Up on a map, the direction that the compass relates to, let's just, I'm not like instantly using north, south, whatever, because Minecraft is its own universe, I don't want to use those same labels, but just for ease of chatting about this, like, north on a compass should relate to up on a map, because maps are always generally have a north, east, south, west on them, so you know which is north, east, south and west. And if the Minecraft map was going to be different, those compass directions should have been there so north wasn't up, so you could see every time you made a map that it gave you that key and it told you that north wasn't up. If it did that, I would say no, okay, that's not a bug. Like, even though it's not quite right, there's a consistency and there's an ability for the user to be able to work that out. But yeah, when you're given no indication and then you just have like, yeah, then you just find that out. No, that's a bug. Like, up on a map and up on a compass not being the same, not being north, like, that's a bug. I don't care. Don't care who you are. That's a bug. That is legitimately a bug. Software tester. Like, I know loads of people never want to say like a bad word about like Minecraft. Like I say, I do rate it as the greatest game I've ever played, but I'll never let it go. That's a bug. But I should probably stop going on about it. across this water. I know I've mentioned it. Oh, what is... Oh, it's a bit of lava. Chance to make some obsidian, maybe? It is the chance to make obsidian, but it's also a great chance to just die. Might skip it. I'll just nerf pole up. Sorry if anybody finds the game controls a bit loud. There is the noise gate that should cut it out when you're not talking, but I haven't found a really good setting for that so that my voice comes back in cleanly. I guess that's just another thing to play with. That's it, when you like start something like this, you know, all your first like early videos, it's all about just trying to get your setup right. This is the one thing I find like about the whole streaming and recording thing. You know, you need to get your setup right. It takes a while to get it into a mode that's going to work for you and the games that you play, and you know, depending on what system you're running things on. That's really weird. Hang on. That's really weird. I was going to say, you know, sugarcane only grows next to water, but it's like this subterranean bit where the sugarcane has like just decided to grow. Random. Not that I need to worry about it. So getting, yep, back towards the desert biome. So to the bottom right hand corner of the map. Nice camouflage bunnies. So yeah, like I said, I know there's no major milestones. I guess getting to the bottom right hand corner of the map could be seen as a milestone. So I might get down to there and then cut things off. In case anybody's wondering, the beeping is still happening and my CPU is hitting about, well, 30 to 50%, but I'm keeping a steady 60 frames per second on OBS, according to OBS, and not dropping any frames apparently, so that is a major win. I mean, that's one of the that was one of the biggest obstacles to me streaming. I only recently got upgraded internet, which is not quite fibre. I get about 50 and 10 at the moment. It should level out to 50 and 25. We'll see how that goes. But so there's no fibre optic connection right to the property. It's fibre for most of the time, and then it cuts down to not being fibre. But as I said to the engineer, it doesn't really matter at what point it stops being a fibre connection. It stops when it stops. That's not going to change just because it's only just outside your house it stops. But, you know, it's just the UK. We've got a really bad internet infrastructure. Apart from the universities on Janet, which is one of the best networks in the world. And if you ever get the opportunity to online game whilst on Janet, you will be in for a treat. Yeah, I mean, your speeds on Janet are just unreal. I mean, I've downloaded Linux distros whilst using the Janet, and so for anybody who doesn't know what Janet stands for, it's a Joint Academic Network, but it is one of the best networks in the world, and the fastest as far as I know. But yeah, it's, if you get to online game on that, brilliant. I've downloaded like a Linux distro in like a couple of seconds from there before. It's just absolutely unreal, like the download speeds. And that's not even recently, that was like, I did that stuff years ago, you know, when I was still at uni. So seeing as it's getting towards, well, not getting towards, but it is night, and pretty much the bottom corner of the map, I'm going to go to sleep and just say bye, and